Hey everyone. Hi, hello. It is me, Allison Rosen, and I have a whole story, a short one, to explain why. First of all, I have a guest with me who I will introduce in a moment, but I have a whole story to explain why you are going to be hearing an Encore episode from 11 years ago. So we are going into like vintage beginning Allison Rosen is your new best friend. I'm going to explain why you're hearing that instead of an episode with Daniel and me and your voicemails, which is what was intended. Although some might say this is an upgrade. But anyway, first, let me get to my guest.
And it's me, Owen.
And Owen, you said, now I put the microphone in front of his face right there. That is the arrangement that we have, that he is not going to talk unless the microphone's in front of his face. Because, Owen, what did I say what did you say when I said, can you be quiet?
I don't be quiet and don't make the sound.
Yeah, I asked him to be a little quiet with his pacifier. No, you said that you'd try your best, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. How are you feeling today, Owen?
Grandma's here and she's sick.
Yeah. How's Owen doing?
Good.
Okay, so anyway, today is Sunday. Yes. Okay, Owen. So now the microphone's in front of my face. So just let me do the talking, okay? And I'll let you talk in a minute, okay?
Yeah, it's Mommy Owen, Mommy Owen, Mommy Owen, Mommy Owen.
Oh, that's how it's gonna go?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, Daniel and I were supposed. Normally we would record on Friday. We did not have any childcare Friday, but Daniel's mother, who, if you've listened for any amount of time, you've heard me talk about her before. She is like. She loves to clean. She loves to organize. She loves to cook. She loves to take care of the kids. She is the consummate woman. In fact, given that Daniel grew up with her, I'm amazed that he ended up choosing a lazy sack of shit like me. I say that in jest. I do not actually think I'm a lazy sack of shit, but I do all of those things that like the things that typically fall under the umbrella of like the old-fashioned woman duties. I don't like to do them. I'm not good at them. They don't bring me joy. I enjoy raising kids, but all the other stuff, I can't. No, thank you. So she comes to town, and it's like she snaps her fingers, and our house is totally clean. And Daniel and I get to sleep in. If we want to go out at night, we can. I mean, it's just like it's like a miracle. So she gets to town, and we're like, oh, thank God. Thank God. And then she became violently okay. So anyway, we didn't have childcare Friday day. Couldn't record then. We're going to record on Saturday. No big deal. Saturday morning, she becomes violently ill, nonstop throwing up. Did not even consider my show schedule when she chose to become violently ill like this. So
Are you gonna put it
hang on.
in front of my face?
Oh, did you want to say something, Owen?
Yeah.
What do you want to say?
Daddy's finding my chocolate rocks, and when he finds them, he's gonna come back and bring them to me in the studio.
She came with some candy. It's they look like little rocks, but they're actually made out of chocolate. And I saw Owen put one in his mouth, and I was like, don't put that giant piece of gravel in your mouth, but it's chocolate. I believe it's actually chocolatey. It's not actual chocolate. It's referred to as chocolatey something or other. Anyway, no, Owen, you cannot rest your foot on the cord. So, I forget exactly what I was saying, but took her to urgent care yesterday, and they gave her a shot to stop the barfing. She has no fever, so they think it's food poisoning.
Look at me with the
Owen, honey, you have to be quiet, okay? They think it's food poisoning. She did mention eating some fruit on her drive here from like a truck stop that tasted like a dish rag or something. She had a bite of it and then tossed it out.
dish rag.
I know, that's pretty funny, right? Say yes.
Yes.
Okay, now be quiet again. Okay, so anyway, so Saturday wasn't happening. So then I figured, okay, we'll record Owen, honey, record Sunday morning. Certainly she'll be better by then. She's not better by now, which is making me think, is this really food poisoning? Because I think that that's more short-lived than this. But she doesn't have a fever. Anyway, not that you guys would not... Look, are you guys Quincy MD? No, but I'm just saying, there is part of me that's like, what is going on? I hope she's okay. But then another part of me is like, but it's not like she has a super high fever, or she doesn't even have a fever. Anyway, I'm trying to make peace with, am I worried about this? So keeping an eye on her. But in the meantime, we do not have anyone to watch the kids. I did send a flurry of texts this morning to various babysitters. Of course, everyone's not available because it's so last minute. So I posted on Patreon to my beloved patrons. I explained the situation, asked what are some of your favorite old Monday shows, and Ellie mentioned Kerri Kenney-Silver. And I was like, oh my goodness, Kerri Kenney-Silver from The State, from Reno 911, and a million other things. Oh my goodness, I haven't thought of that episode in years. Looked it up, listened to a little bit of it.
Who are you talking to?
Who am I talking to?
Yeah.
I'm talking to the audience. You can't see them, but they're going to listen to this later when we upload it. Excuse me. So, but then there were a lot of other good suggestions too, which made it very hard to choose. But I thought, why not go with this one? Apparently, I recorded a topper to the episode when I was in New York for some Adam Carolla shows. Owen, honey, I have no memory of doing that, and I'm trying to remember how I could even do that because I don't travel with equipment. It must have been. Did I borrow it from Dawson or something? Because I don't think Gary was on that trip. It's weird that I have no memory of that. And also my friend Dustin Goot, who OG listeners will... Oh, and honey, you cannot touch the microphone. Sweetie. Honey, gotta be... You want to say something?
You.
Okay. Owen, I want to hear one of your Planet songs in a minute, okay? So think about which one you want to sing while I just tell them a little bit more about this. Okay. Dustin, my friend from New York who now lives in LA, he actually moved to LA before me. He used to appear on Allison Rosen's New Best Friend streaming video episodes all the time. We also did various video series together, and I sort of had him sit in for a few very, very early episodes, and this is one of those. So I hope you enjoy this. I enjoyed when I listened. I'm going to listen to the whole thing, but when I listened to little bits of it, I was like, yeah, this is a fun one. And it gives a snapshot of, where we were 11 years ago. Okay. Please check out my Patreon, patreon.com/AllisonRosen. I just put up a Friend Zone. That's my Patreon bonus episode with Elizabeth Lame. She was last week's Monday show, but I needed more. And then also Todd Perry and I used to do Upworthy Weekly with him. He was on the Thursday show last week. He and I have a Patreon for our new podcast, which is launching any minute. And it's patreon.com/Allison and Todd. Patreon.com/Allison. Hang on one second. Patreon.com/Allison and Todd. There's just one level, $2 a month. You can't afford not to unless you don't want to. Okay. And with that, here's Owen. Would you like to sing a song?
Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Those are the planets in the solar system.
Beautiful. Anything else, or should I say goodbye to them?
Goodbye to them.
Okay. All right, here's the episode. Hello, my little ham and Gruyere frittatas. It's me, Allison Rosen. And before the show officially starts, this is like a unofficial start. It's a soft launch, which I always think it's weird when people say that. And it's weird that I just said that. Anyway, I wanted to say a few things before the show starts. For one, it is like 2:30 in the a.m. in New York, and that is where I am recording this little soft launch. If you flew all the way here just to record this. No, I'm here because I just did some shows at Caroline's with the Adam Carolla show, which I am on. And I am not making sense. I'm not drunk. I'm just tired. But anyway, it is crazy being back in New York because I used to live here, as you guys probably know, and some people feel I mention it too often, but I lived here for a long time, and all sorts of formative things happened for me here. And it's really great and weird and overly emotional being back. And now I'm sad that I am leaving New York, but I'm excited that I'm flying back tomorrow. So there's that. By the time you hear this show, I will be back. And I had a wonderful flight. Hoping if I say it, it comes true. Let's see, what do I need to tell you? Well, June 22nd, Friday, please come out and see my live show at Nerd Melt. Tickets are not very expensive. You can find out more info on AllisonRosen.com. And the guests are Paul Gilmartin of the Mental Illness Happy Hour podcast, which is one of my favorite podcasts. And then also Michael Rosas, who's a musician who used to be in the band Smile and then was in the band Satisfaction. And he plays solo, and he's amazing. I believe he's actually won the title of Best Orange County Musician once or more than once. And I think he's amazing, and he's an old friend of mine. He's going to play a couple songs, and then he's also going to chime in on the other stuff because he's really witty and hilarious. So please come out for and there might be other surprise guests as well. So please come out for that. That would be great. Also, I have been putting Angora's songs, that's my old band, at the very end of the show for the last two shows, and people have loved that. So I will put one at the end of this show, and I'll tell you about that. If you stick around till the very end, then you can hear that. It's, as I said last week, it's like an Easter egg, but not really at all. Okay. Also, I think I should probably do an iTunes comment of the week. So here is where Gary will put the song, I think. Here it goes.
Allison Rosen brings you the best iTunes comments of the week.
All right. This week's comment comes from Rami G. It says, love Allison and her show. I listen every week. This show gives me a reason to look forward to Monday mornings. Thanks for sharing your music, too. My favorite TV show right now is Mad Men. That show is amazing, and I'm sad that the season is over. Keep up the great work, and hopefully one day I'll be able to travel from Sacramento to see one of your live shows in the near future. Yes, please, I hope you do. And it occurs to me that if you're hearing this show for the first time, you're thinking, why is she or he mentioning his or her favorite TV show? And that's because each week I ask you guys to, answer a specific question. And this week it was, what's your favorite TV show? And I have to say, I'm watching Mad Men as well. And those last two episodes of this season totally got under my skin. Holy moly. And I can't believe I have to wait a whole another many months till the show comes back. So yeah. All right. This week, here's the question that I want you to answer. Which is cuter? Puppies, babies, or ducklings? Once again, which is cuter? Puppies, babelings, or duckies? No, puppies, babies, or ducklings. I have to say that it's a push between puppies and ducklings. I'm sorry, humans. You do not have the cutest tiny things. Babies get cute, but if I'm going to look at photos, it's going to be photos of puppies or ducklings. All right. What else do I need to tell you? The guest for this episode is Kerri Kenney-Silver. She's really funny and really smart and really nice. She's all of those things. And I really enjoyed having her on my show. And as you can hear in my voice right now, I'm tired. So I think I'm going to just say, hey, here's the show. Because if I keep talking, then pretty soon I'll talk about the fact that I feel like tonight I learned that I've been showering wrong for my whole life. Because I don't use a washcloth. Oh man, I know that I should just re-record this and sound less like a person who can't speak, but I'm going to leave that in there. Gary, you leave that in there. Washcloth. or loofah or exfoliating thingamajigamanoo maroony thing. I just use my hands and soap. Is that weird? I guess I am going to talk about that now. Everyone else uses some kind of cleaning implement. I don't. And I feel like, how did I not know that you're supposed to? Okay, so that's one thing. And the other thing is, sometimes when I try to say washcloth, wathclosh comes out. What's that about? It's only happened once, but I feel like it's, it was enough. It was a thing. All right. I've said too much. I love you guys. Come to my show, the live one, and enjoy this episode. And if you want to hear another Encore song, just wait around to the end. Okay, bye. Love you.
Allison Rosen is your new best friend. Allison, with her the good times never end. Allison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Allison Rosen, Allison's your new best friend.
Hey everyone, hi, hello, it's me, Allison Rosen, and welcome to another exciting episode of Allison Rosen is Your New Best Friend. My guest today is Kerri Kenney-Silver, who you may know from Reno 911 and The State and a zillion other things.
Hello.
Hello, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I was impressed by your theme song, and it just occurred to me while it was playing that would never work for my name. Kerri Kenney-Silver is your new best friend.
Oh, that's not too bad, though.
You kind of made it work.
Yeah.
So that's talent.
Great. I'll never have my own podcast.
You could change your name, and then
to
you could
Allison
have one.
Rosen.
Or to Mark Maron.
KKS.
Mark Maron is your new best friend.
Oh, that's good. That's good. You you brought some balls to it. Yeah. And hello, Dustin.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us so soon after the last one, which is in podcast time a week later, but in real time, like 5 minutes later. Hey, Gary.
What's up, guys?
How's it going?
Going good. How are you?
I'm good. It still sounds weird and hollow, and I'm just going to be an annoying cunt about it by bringing it up. So I'm just going to say it, and then I'm just going to forget about it, and I'm going to give you that.
If you weren't sitting in that tin can over there, maybe it would sound better. Come out of the can,
This is how
Allison.
I travel, though. Just like in The Rescuers. I'm in a sardine can on the back of an albatross. That's how I get around. So anyway.
That's what makes the show exciting.
The fact that who knows if I'll get here?
Yeah, and that we're in an albatross, or that you're in an albatross.
I know. They've got to work that into the song. So, Kerri Kenney-Silver.
Yes.
Before the show started, we were talking a little bit about the fact that you and I were both on this Women in Comedy panel.
Yes,
and
that's
I was
where we
saying I don't want to like pick this thing apart too much and say anything negative about it because I'm friends with people who put it on and who moderated. But I do think we need to talk about it a little bit because what the hell was that, right?
Yeah. We met on this. It was a Women in Comedy panel.
Yeah.
And I think I pissed everybody off because I think the first thing that I said was not to piss everybody off, which when you start with that, chances are you're headed for pissing
It's
people
like when
off.
you say no offense.
Yeah, or when you say I'm being totally honest with
Or
you.
with all due
Means
respect.
you're
Or like,
absolutely
I'm
not.
sorry,
Yeah.
but...
Yeah, I hate to say this, but I did. I said I hate to piss everybody off. But why is there even a panel with the title "Women in Comedy"? I mean, it's like enough talking about. I mean, I'm so thrilled at the success of Bridesmaids. It deserves that success. It was an unbelievable piece of work. But for people to say, "Wow, finally, women are doing comedy," is
When women have been doing
insulting
comedy
to
for
those
so long.
minor basic cable celebrities such as myself.
That's right. Yeah, and the thing is, there were just a lot of questions like, this has been an amazing year for women in comedy. What do you think is going to happen the rest of the year, and where do you see it going? It's like, that's like an essay question.
Yeah,
I don't
know.
think in that way. And I also can't... The thing is that no one on that panel thinks of themselves as specifically a woman in comedy.
Right.
I never even really thought about the fact that I was female in comedy, I think, until I started working on the Adam Carolla show. And that's the first time that I really encountered people who do walk around thinking women can't be funny.
You're funny for a girl.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I think you're funny, and I never think women are funny. That's I hear that before.
I realized it right when we graduated college, because the State was the sketch comedy group that I started with at NYU. We met at NYU. And just organically over the years, through the 4 years of college, the group ended up being myself and 10 guys. And when we graduated and got our show on MTV, which was titled The State, they did say to us, so how about some color? How about some other women? And I remember us feeling kind of shocked by that, innocently so, because it was what it was. And we were also kind of, cocky about it too, like, this is who we are, take us or leave us. But yeah, it's still, it's shocking, but great that women are, getting recognized. Okay. But I also don't like the thing of, it's about time. Well, it's always been time. I've been very lucky then, if that's the case, because I've had a TV show for many years and I'm a girl and I do funny jokes.
Do you encounter that attitude, though? I mean, do you run into people who are like, what's that? Well, I am going to ask you that. What is that like? What was that like being the only woman in the State?
Yeah, people ask that, and that's fair. I mean, I don't have a penis, or it's not as big as theirs. But I had it removed.
What did you do with it?
I put it in a jar.
Smart.
For Halloween.
Yes. Is that so you can reattach it, or just to shock people?
No, just to shock people.
Right.
Kids are it's terrifying. I have a penis in a jar. That's scary, Allison. It's in my purse. I'll show you at the end. That is something. That's not a silly question. It was great. I got to play a lot of female characters, but a lot of the guys played female characters too, and I played male characters. We just did a reunion show last year or the year before for the San Francisco Sketch Fest, which was incredible. We did all new material, and it was so fun to be performing sketch live again. And I think I played 5 women and 4 men. I mean, sometimes it's funnier that a dude is in a dress than me. So,
was it something that you thought of a lot at the time, though? Did you think, here I am, the only female in this sketch group, or was it because after the panel, I said to you that it was only when I started thinking about what are they going to ask us on this panel, and I started thinking about all the different things, that I was like, hey, you are the only female in that group. And I'm such a fan of the State, but I had never really thought of it in that way. I just thought you're all funny.
I like that, and I that was one of my proudest sort of feelings about coming out of the State, was that not a lot of people say to me, oh, you were the only girl in the State and ... It's just you guys were so funny, or that one sketch that you were in. But and I appreciate that, just because that says something, hopefully, to our talent of being able to work together and morph into different characters. And but I mean, that's a perfect example of feeling like, why is this an issue? I mean, I'm more, if you're talking about personality wise, I'm more of a dude than some of the guys in the group, as far as like, potty talk and what you would think of as the typical funny guy. I mean, there was never a feeling like, oh, we can't discuss that because Kerri's in the room. I get offended when that, in fact, it was brought up at the panel. A couple people said, I do male jokes, AKA fart jokes and stuff. And I thought why is that seen? I mean, it was an embarrassing point to, raise my torch to say I do fart jokes as well. But why is that particularly male and one is particularly female? It's like I don't sit around making jokes about my period, and the guys, don't just sit around talking about their balls. Although they do talk about their balls a lot.
We do talk about our balls a lot.
I just met you out in the lobby, and I'm like, how are you? You're like, my balls are a little sweaty.
Yeah.
I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
But he's a guy.
We just always figure that you want to know.
Yeah. And I, just so you know, I'm in the middle of my cycle.
Okay.
Because I know you were wondering that.
Yeah, that is always what I'm
wondering. And by the middle of my cycle, I mean, I'm pretty much ovulating, so try to stay about a foot away from me.
Okay, yeah. Well, try and hold down your raging sexual attraction that your hormones are forcing you to have.
My eggs are
will.
pretty shrivelly at this point, so I don't know that you would have much impact in there, but
But you could try.
We could try. I'd be willing to try.
Dustin, do you have a favorite ball of your own?
Oh, well, that makes it hard, doesn't it?
Well, there's only two.
Lots to choose from.
Presumably.
Yeah. But it's like
or do you view it as a unit?
It's like choosing your favorite kid, whereas someone else's ball. I mean, then
Sophie's choice. Which ball goes?
I can offend someone
Oh,
else.
good.
The left.
Is it you like it? Does it get caught less or?
No, neither
That'd
of them
be ball
get.
right for
if
us.
something's going to get caught, it's going to be the shaft.
Okay. Yeah. Is it camera right or ball right?
Right. Your left is like when you're looking down at the left.
Oh, true. That'd be when we were doing the operation. We'd have to do that thing where on the ball they're not moving.
Sharpie marker.
They would write no. To make sure that they were getting the right ball.
Yeah, but does that see? If I'm the surgeon, I think does that mean no? I don't want this ball anymore.
Or
does that mean no?
Or
don't
no,
touch
I'm
this
done
one.
with it. Take it away.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like
I feel like you'd have to put the writing like up into your thigh. There'd be a whole paragraph.
Yeah, maybe we
a lot
just
of
have to
directions.
write small and be really explicit. No, don't take this ball off. And
This
by
is
that
why-
I mean, I want to keep it at the end of the procedure.
This is why I've never had my balls removed because I'm worried that they're going to misunderstand and
I know.
take the wrong one.
Yeah.
But you trusted them to remove your small penis.
Yeah,
It's
fell off.
easy.
It fell off
How?
like a belly button,
Oh, that's ew.
and like my gallbladder and my appendix. You just don't need them anymore. They shrivel up.
Right, like wisdom teeth as well, sort of vestigial. So, how did the state come together?
We were a comedy club in college. We went to NYU, and most of us were acting students. I think it was half and half acting students, half film students. And Michael Ian Black and I, whose real name is Michael Schwartz, he and I were in a creative writing class together. So we met first day of school. Tom Lennon and I had known each other previously. We went to acting summer camp together when we were 17. But anyway, I digress. I feel like Michael was the one who brought me the flyer, or I brought him the flyer to the class and said, there's auditions for a comedy club starting here. Because there already was a comedy club. It was very hard to get into. It was called the Sterile Yak. And Mo Willems ran that group, who's now a very famous, very successful children's book author. If any of you have children.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Mo Willems. He wrote that elephant story.
Yeah, he wrote Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus, and he wrote Knuffle Bunny. He's a big deal. And
Adam mocked one of his books mercilessly. Well, Adam's not a fan of children's books.
Yeah. Well,
for
I
adults.
think, you know what? Mo Willems is the kind of guy who isn't a fan of children's books either, and he started writing them. And as a parent, I'm so grateful because they are actually funny. But so Mo had this other group, and he was an elder classman and, was too scared to even think about getting in. So we started our own, and we called ourselves The New Group, which was just brilliant because we were the new group. And then there were, different, combinations of people going in and out of the group. But ultimately, by the end of our senior year, when MTV said, "Would you like a show?" That's the 11 of us that you saw was the final group.
And how did you guys make decisions with 11 of you? Because I was in a band years ago. I know you were in a band as well, but I was in a band years ago, and there were 4 of us, and decision making was difficult with that many. So I always think when you have like the Von Trapps plus 4, how do you do it?
Well, we would all put on outfits made out of drapes.
That's smart. Mm-hmm. Put you on the same page.
Yeah. No, we would it was hard. I mean, that's a lot of people remember the most frustrating part of the group as being decision-making time, because we were also incredibly passionate about what we did. And, most of us thought we were right and would argue vehemently. And I tended to sit back until I would explode and about, some fart joke, and chairs were thrown, and it was crazy. It was really hard to do that. But ultimately, I look back at the body of work, and I think we made mostly good decisions. So however we got there, I think it worked.
Mm-hmm. And you just finished doing a movie?
I just finished a movie with Jeff Garlin, who I adore, from Curb Your Enthusiasm, from many things, but that's where people mostly know him from. He did an improv movie that he directed, and it's called Dealing with Idiots. And he and Nia Vardalos play Little League parents of a little boy who's terrible at Little League. And then myself and Gina Gershon play moms to an adopted boy from the Dominican Republic who's the best boy on the team. And Fred Willard was in it, and Richard Kind, and it was ridiculous. It's so, I mean, Fred is a hero of mine. And to sit and improv with him was spectacular, and Richard Kind is an absolute genius. So,
and you're saying that Jeff Garlin didn't give you guys much direction?
Yeah, no, he really is. I guess I never did Curb, but I guess their sort of thing was to really keep it as spontaneous as possible. So that's what Jeff wanted to do. And I'm someone who likes information, and I like to do my homework and at least have a couple of jokes in the can, because God forbid they call action and you're just, staring into the camera, which you shouldn't do anyway. But there was none of that.
Unless they say to camera.
Right. That's a great lesson for all of you listening. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's take a moment. Okay.
So should I not have been staring into the microphone this whole time we were doing this?
That's different. That just records your voice.
You should speak into it, though.
Okay.
You really? Right into it?
Well, I'm constantly reminded that I should be.
I know. I see your guy put a little...
Please angle your mic so you're talking into the top.
You're the one who brought up that it sounded tinny. I'm trying to help.
Okay, thank you. All right. Anyway, before I interrupted you with my unfunny joke, you were saying you like to have a couple jokes in the can.
I don't know. I like to be a little bit prepared, but he wanted none of that. So, I hope I did all right. He seemed happy, but you never know till they edit. But that's fun. Editing, improv movies and shows are made in the editing room. People would say to us all the time, "Oh everything that came out of your mouth on Reno is golden." Videotape is cheap, and we would shoot an hour to get a 2-minute piece. So sometimes we were funny, and sometimes we just have really good editors.
And in Reno 911, how much direction would you get going into a sketch?
We would Tom Lennon and Ben Grant and I, we created it. We would write an outline for the guests or for the main cast of sheriffs, and we would, if it was for a guest that was bringing in their own character, we would tell them almost nothing. Just, in fact, we would call them and say, "What do you want?" I mean, Nick Swartzen, I remember he called in and said, "I need a pair of short shorts and some roller skates." And I just thought, and we would say to them often, "I don't want to know what you're doing. Just show up and surprise us." And then when it would come to the relationship things in the station between the other sheriffs, we would try and give an outline as far as where we wanted ultimately at the end of this, there's going to be, a fundraiser, or we're going to, have to fight the mayor on this. And so that, those would be given. But it was pretty loose as well, but not as loose as this film that I just did. So I'm excited to see it. I'm curious to see what it's going to be.
Now,
me too.
Do you have a lot of familiarity with that world from your own experience, like Little League or youth sports world?
Oh, yes. And that was one advantage I had, I felt, was I'm in it now. I have a 6-year-old son. And
it is ridiculous.
It's insane. And in fact, a few of the things I pitched to Jeff, he said, there's no way I can use that because no one will believe it. Absolutely no one will believe it. My son is in T-ball now, and people are fucking nuts. I mean, we played a team a few weeks ago, and every parent on the team was holding a clipboard. And I was like, what the fuck are you writing? They're 4.
Yeah. What are they
what are you
notes?
Writing down? The first baseman is holding
they're
a
charting their hitting tendencies. Yeah.
I mean, so it was very helpful to me in my relationship with my fake son.
And in real life, though, do you just have one son?
We do. I wouldn't say just, though.
No, I wouldn't.
Have you ever met a 6-year-old boy?
No, it sounds like a handful.
Who's
No,
quote,
I'm sure
unquote,
I have.
spirited? That's what we say now. It's not a pain in the ass. He's spirited.
Right. Will you have more kids, though, do you think?
No, he's amazing. But, I think we always knew we would only have one. We went into it with the one-and-done attitude, and I never thought I could have kids. So it was kind of a miracle and kind of great, and we're not gamblers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, I'm no spring chicken. I don't have children.
I was going to say.
Yeah, I know. There's sort of an aura of agedness coming off me.
It's a stench, really.
Yeah. It's Aspercream.
And the tinniness.
And right.
that comes with
telltale
age.
You can't smell
sign.
that, though.
The telltale sign.
But I would like to have children.
Yeah.
But
Maybe that's the calcification of your voice box, actually. It's nothing. You're blaming Gary for some mechanical failure. But
I know. It's inside me.
Might be emotional polyps.
I think so.
Is this, let me know if I'm overstepping my boundaries.
Oh, no,
but
I talk about it.
How old are you?
I just turned 37.
Oh, you're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Thank you.
If you were 42, I'd say, there's got a little work to do.
Right.
Let's hit the singles bars tonight.
Yeah. No, I'm in a relationship.
Oh,
it's
okay.
more like the mechanics of it
Sure.
and the biology of it.
People don't realize that it is. I didn't realize, I should say, that it's a big deal. And
Getting
I just
pregnant?
thought you have sex
Yes.
or you walk by a guy in your bathing suit and you get pregnant and then you put them to your boob and they drink your milk and you send them off to college. It's a little bit more complicated than that. I mean, there's a place called the lactation station. When my son was born, they came in, the nurse came in and said, a breastfeeding lactation consultant will be in to see you. And I was like, I need someone to teach me how to squirt milk out of my boobs. I think I got this. And sure enough, it's hard. It's all hard. Nobody told me any of it. And it's all, I don't know, maybe we complicate things in the modern world.
Now, I was actually just thinking about this recently. That's been pretty much my experience with every rite of passage, is that what I think will come naturally actually feels awkward and takes a while to get. And I'm talking about even my first kiss. I just assumed I didn't spend time kissing pillows or my arm or whatever other girls were doing. I just figured it'll just make sense when it happens. And instead, I pursed my lips in this weird way and kind of made fish lips and moved them back and forth, and the guy was like, "What the hell are you doing?"
I think
and
everybody
I'm
does that,
you.
don't they?
Yeah, I had gnash teeth.
You got
There was tooth on tooth.
Ouch! Ew.
braces on
activity.
braces.
No, there was no braces, fortunately, because then we could have actually gotten tangled like dogs in heat. That would have been bad.
Instead, you got her dentures.
No, instead we just there was it was like rams competing for the woman. Like when they hit horns together, that was
Right.
what the kiss was like. It was just
that's so
hard.
awkward.
It's supposed to be soft and romantic.
See, that's why I'm
Instead,
going to
it
be
was-
there for all of my sons first.
That's
I'm a
good.
helicopter parent. And the first time he kisses, first time he has sex, I'm not going to be overbearing.
No.
I'm just going to, Mommy's here for you.
Right.
You might want to use less tongue.
Do you think that you'll be in the back kind of pantomiming?
Oh, yeah. No, I already have charts made,
That's
flip
good.
charts.
See, that's
And,
good. You can't,
flashcards.
yeah. Because there's too much that could go wrong.
Oh, so much
And then
could
that
go
would be a
wrong.
really crushing experience
What
for
if
the
he
kid.
clash his teeth for the first time? He'll never forget that.
Well, I've said this, I think actually on the show a couple of times. I always feel like I wish I'd had the older brother to teach me the things the worst things to avoid.
Right.
Or I guess theoretically, a parent could have intervened and
Right.
said, "Hey, listen, you're gonna, you might be kissing soon.
No,
Don't,
I love it, though.
Don't lead with the teeth."
I love the innocence. I think I want to keep my son. My son is very tall, and it's very sweet because he's incredibly innocent and very big. And we didn't teach him the words that a big brother may have taught him. In fact, we were so prude that we didn't even teach him the word fart because I knew I would hear it 100 times a day. So I just, of course, like a caveman, he came up with his own name for it, and he calls them tushy burps.
Oh,
Which I feel like we need to
that's perfect.
Wikipedia that. Make that a
we'll
thing.
trademark that.
Yeah, Urban
Trademark.
Tushy
Dictionary at
burps.
least.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
Isn't it good?
Yeah.
Because once he knows them, like from a big brother or an old kid, and it's just all day is just going to be my balls, my dick, my farts.
Right.
Because that's my husband.
Okay, now when...
Where do you want to go for dinner? My balls, my dick.
Right. Well, no wonder you were attracted to him.
Oh, so attractive.
How did you guys meet?
We met on a show. My husband's a cinematographer. He's a director of photography for television programming. He does 2.5 Men and The Big Bang Theory.
Oh.
Currently.
I have not heard of those.
No, they're new fledgling projects.
I wish them the best,
Yes,
though.
a gentleman named Ashton Kutcher. He's
French.
just starting out. He's a French boy. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to do well. He's cute. He has terrible acne.
Does he really?
No, he glows. It's the truth about certain people like that. You think, oh, everybody's airbrushed. Not this one.
Yeah.
This boy's got he glows. He's like J-Lo skin.
I'd like to see him in person. See, I bought that he needed Proactive.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
No.
I believed you.
No,
You sold it.
I really did.
Yeah.
No, it was a bit.
I've heard that Kim Kardashian in real life is more beautiful than anyone else in the whole world.
I'm not buying that.
Yeah, she looks like someone who secretly has bad skin.
I feel like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is my friend covering for her?
Oh, no, who's this friend?
Is her name Sarah?
Is her name Kanye West?
No. I mean, not that I'm aware. I think
you'd
it's just
know.
Sarah. Right, because that'd be weird if her name was Kanye West, but her nickname was Sarah.
Maybe Kanye West is her middle name.
I'm gonna have to probe that
I'm
further.
gonna get to the bottom of this.
I know. So, Dustin, I need to get to the bottom of the fact that when you were entering business school, you had to take an improv class. What?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's part of the orientation program. We have, I forget if it was a whole day. I think it was just a half day of instruction. And I can say from the half day of instruction wherein business school students attempted to do improv that I think it's good. I'm assuming that not many MBAs were cast on your film.
Although Ken Jeong,
Okay.
Oh,
the
right.
doctor. Ken
There
Jeong
we
is a
go.
bona fide, and he's not just a sometimes weekend half-day doctor. He's the real deal.
Yeah.
So now I just said that so you could feel bad about yourself.
Yes. Yes. Well, listen, I'm a part-time podcast sidekick and an MBA. So, I mean,
You're breaking the mold.
yeah,
You are.
take that, Ken Jeong.
He's
I'm trying to clear this frog out of my throat quietly.
Take this. Try this. Oh, it involves sucking.
Oh, I can do that.
Here. Do you know what that is?
I don't.
I just pulled something out of my pocket.
It looks like
afraid
a
of
fruit
it.
snack.
It's so, you know who turned me on to these? Jeff Garland, because I had a froggy throat. It's a black currant flavor.
Oh, I can do that.
They're good.
There we
Seems
go.
like something that's kind of like a jelly thing.
It is. You suck on it and it soothes your throat.
Okay.
But anyway, MBAs are not good at improv. Is the
That's the bottom line.
The bottom line from the story.
But what was the point of it? To teach you guys to...
So in theory, it's fantastic. I mean, I think it
Right.
you were talking about a friend of yours who teaches
Alan
scientists.
Alda
Oh yeah.
is the
Alan
friend.
Alda teaches improv to scientists, which I think is so
love him.
brilliant.
I love that, and I love him. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the idea is it's like.
Loosen you up, or
Well, it was more about teamwork because
Okay.
you do a bunch of group assignments, and the point of that is that when you go into the workplace, most things are team-based, and you have
Right.
to be able to collaborate and get everyone pulling in the same direction and so forth. So there was a lot of instruction on yes and
Right.
sort of the metaphorical yes and in
Right.
business, not shutting people down. So
you never know when you might want to pull out an imaginary taco and just run with it.
yeah, there we go. Which we often do.
Yeah.
No, we don't. But in practice, it was these like kind of typical improv games, which we just basically sucked at because I think it's the classic. It's like the Office bit where Steve
Right.
Carell tries to do improv, and everyone just thinks it's like it's going for the biggest punchline. That's what it's all about, which was completely the opposite of what they were trying to teach us.
Right,
Improv is
right.
about. So we did that game where you stand in a circle, and everyone just adds a word to the story.
Right.
And it'd be like, once upon a time there was underpants.
Like, oh, it's like Mad Libs when you're 4.
Right. And seriously, and we have this improv instructor who's in this somewhat notable women's comedy troupe. I'll protect the innocent and not say who it was, but she's like, she's really trying to be patient with it. She's like, okay, well, we don't, it doesn't need to be like a crazy word. You can you can just say the next thing that would follow in the sentence, and then just the
And they're
story
like,
will kind of take
Penis
shape.
farts.
Exactly. Then we go, once upon a time, zombie. So I'm not sure that in practice a whole lot was gained other than learning that MBAs probably shouldn't be cast in
Well,
improv.
not everybody. I think there's a misconception about improv too. There are different kinds of improv. There's the people who do the whose line is it anyway. People who do the games, like Ryan Stiles, is unbelievable at it. But then there's a different kind of improv, which is improving in character, and that I can do. But the games, I mean, it was known in the state. We were terrible at improv. We tried the games a couple of times. It was horrible. But then when it came to doing Reno 911, we just simply didn't have time to write the script because we were in the middle of this situation with Fox, and they had turned down another script we had written, and we ended up having to improv this at the last second. But we realized in character we could improv, but not absolutely not the game. They're hard. It's too hard.
Do you have a preference working off of a script or doing improv?
Oh, I've never thought about that. I feel like it's sort of like women who can wear short hair. If you have a face for short hair, you should wear short hair because other people can't do it. I feel like if you can do improv, it's more fun because a lot of people can't do it. So in that regard, in a competitive regard, it's fun. But it depends. If it's great writing, I always love when you go to an audition and, there's these precious words on a page and the showrunner who's created it is sitting right there and the casting director says, let's just have fun with it.
Oh, God.
Which is, so in other words, you want me to paraphrase the words of the scribe that's sitting here and assuming that I think this would have been a better line than what you've written. If it's well written, go for the script. I'm pretty quick at learning lines. So.
See, in auditions I go on, and they're not precious words, and there's not a scribe. It's various hosting things, but they will say, you don't have to do the words exactly. Have fun with it.
Have fun
Make
with
it
it.
your own.
You're like,
we want to
this
see
is
someone who
fun.
brings something to it, and there's a handful of times that I've actually done that I've really brought my own jokes and really made it my own and put my own stamp on it. Because, I'm not like everyone else. I'm coming in there with my own set of skills and I'm just going to just be me.
Right.
Or do me, as they say on Jersey Shore and elsewhere. But that's a lot of extra work, and my hunch is always that it goes to the person who pretty much did it straight.
I think you're probably right.
I hate that.
I think you're probably right. I've had a couple of those auditions where my very first audition was for a commercial. And, if you've ever auditioned for a commercial, they're titled. And the title may have very little to do with the commercial, actually, what it's really about. And the title of this particular commercial was for AT&T or it was for one of the phone companies. This was decades ago. And the title was Mime. And the idea behind it was that this actor is listening to the voiceover and reacting. And the voiceover was like, are you tired of spending too much on your home phone bill? Have you ever thought to yourself, maybe if I could, find a better... So I saw mime on there. Now, I'm in acting college, and I take a mime class. I'm fucking got a B in mime class. I'm going to nail this because I bet these guys
You
never
will believe
took
that box is there.
mime class.
You're going to be at least above average.
So I was sweating, literally sweating. At the end, I was doing like the Godspell breathing, like I was pulling a rope. I was climbing ladders. I had birds landing on my fingers. I was lighting flames. And I stopped and I looked up and I was going, and the look on their faces was priceless. Now, my girlfriend at the time in college, she worked there. And that's how I got into this audition. And she called me later and she's like, oh, honey, they didn't mean literally like in a white unitard. Like Marcel. They meant just – so I later got to see the commercial. And the person that was cast was simply very, very subtly reacting with their face. Maybe an eyebrow up. That sounds like something. Oh, I was mortified. And she said to this day that tape gets passed around at lunchtime. It's like it's gone viral.
That's amazing.
So I've got to get a hold of it.
I think we should do some Just Me or Everyone.
Sometimes I ponder on something I have thought or done. Is it just me or everyone?
Okay, this is where we figure out if the people who send us their Just Me or Everyone's are freaks or if they're common. Okay, IH8 says, when I burp, I say either biatch or Barack, and there's a lot of A's in there, for the duration. The Barack is followed by a quiet Obama in normal voice. I love that.
I love that.
I don't do that, but I wish I did. Anyone else?
I might be able to work up a burp and actually.
Yeah.
Well, oh, that was good. Was that a real one?
Yeah.
Wow.
Good.
Sorry.
Mine was a little juicier.
Don't apologize. Be
That's
proud.
a skill.
Yeah.
Put
now,
that on your resume next to.
did you make yourself burp, or did you have one on deck?
The second one I made myself, but I've been eating, so it's easy right now.
Have you ever made yourself burp and thrown up by accident?
Yes.
Okay, let's not do that.
Really?
Let's
Yes.
do that another time.
Absolutely.
That's like the verbal shart.
That's exactly what it is,
Great
actually.
band, by the way.
Right. As opposed to a
Great
tushy
band.
burp, that's a mouth fart. That's yuck.
It's a verbal shart. I like the first
Yeah,
one.
yeah, you're right. You know what? I was
you're
gilding the
gilding the
lily. I
lily
should
on
have
that one.
stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you
It
know,
happens.
Dustin and I had a burping contest. I've told this story before, so I'm not going to stretch it out.
Which
but
I won.
I won.
Oh, wow.
Excuse
Oh,
me. That's
wow.
nice, Gary.
Sorry.
I was just lazing
Thank God
about
Gary wasn't there.
on the couch drinking root beer and burping, and then I thought, what soda
I don't
creates?
even need a soda stream.
This is
What
so
up?
weird
I
to me,
know.
and your boyfriend doesn't not want to make babies with you.
I haven't shown him the burps yet.
Okay.
The farts, yes.
I would save those
for a romantic moment.
for the kid's first birthday, maybe.
I can make myself burp. Okay.
Well, maybe you should save the burp for for when you want to break it to him. You should say, "I want a baby," but on the A and baby, have a giant burp built up.
I want to see if I can do it. I want a. Oh darn! Sometimes you get
I know.
stuck on the M burp.
Well,
Okay.
you've got time to practice. Don't.
This is
You got
when
till
we
you're
video.
40. You got till you're 42 to
My
get it
stuff's
right.
drying up. I'm out of practice. Dustin, talking to the microphone while I make myself burp.
Okay, this is where we really should have a camera because Allison
she
is
throws up in her hands.
is very
I would kill for video right now.
I
You
know.
have no
is
idea.
very physically working up a burp. Like there's chest heaves going on right now.
Oh, damn it!
Sorry, we all get performance anxiety. It's
Yeah.
not a big deal. It happens.
I can do better. Baby. These
See,
are
this
so
is charming.
embarrassingly bad. These are barely burps. They're just like.
You're hardly letting anything out, though. I feel like you've got all this air. Like in the middle of
Oh,
the
she did it.
podcast, you're just gonna.
You just throw in the word really quickly.
Yeah,
at the
you've got to
end.
hold it till after the consonant is the key to it.
Okay.
Can you
I can do better.
can you
definitely
fart
got that
out the
on
word
video.
baby?
I can say it while I fart. Okay. Okay, hang on. You guys don't make that sound.
Yeah, I
that
do.
Water bong sound.
I
you?
do.
Okay.
I am really
great.
worried for a vomit at this point because it's like you're.
You know what's going to happen? You're
you're
going to get
going-
home and you're going to be alone and you're going to do it amazing and you're going to start laughing and your boyfriend's going to look at you like, "What? What's so funny?"
He's going to have to accept that.
Yeah.
It's diminishing returns. Just one more time and then we're going to move on.
Whoa.
Oh, that was
was a real
very
burp.
close. That was very
Was
close.
that you?
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
I threw my burp. Okay.
I have to say that to my son all the time. Don't throw your burps.
Make them count.
Poke an eye out.
Make them count.
Anyway,
anyway, we were drinking a lot of soda for the to see what soda creates the best burps for the burping contest. And I burped last and longest. Dustin thinks he won, but I'm pretty sure I did. But then there was some talk about how, well, it's my show, so I had, people wanted to say that I won because they were just being nice to me or some
That's
bullshit.
some good old-fashioned cheap fun. That's like riding the
know.
escalators at the mall.
I'm all about the cheap
or
fun.
Soda burp
when I was a
contest.
kid, we used to go to one of the tallest buildings in Greenville, South Carolina, which was like 9 stories tall, and go to the top and then ride the escalator back down, but jump before it went down, so it felt like you were floating for a couple of seconds. That is cheap fun. I would do that right now, actually. I think that probably doesn't get old.
You want to try crack?
Sounds more expensive than elevators.
It's cheap.
It's pretty cheap.
We were just talking
Good for a good
about
price right now.
on the earlier podcast someone who stole 300 pounds of frozen meat to feed their crack habit. So that sounds like
person
too
was
much
here?
work for me.
Yeah.
That's a good guess.
No. He worked at a homeless shelter.
Okay.
And it was on his watch that this happened.
Okay, now it just got sad.
He was just an
Okay.
enabler. Yeah.
Have you guys ever tried crack?
No.
I never have either, Dustin.
No,
Gary.
I had a friend who was really excited to try it, and
I can tell you someone who will probably surprise you who's tried crack.
Please.
Adam Carolla.
He has.
That's what I said.
It doesn't. It does and it doesn't. When
It
did this
surprised
happen?
me. It comes out.
Does Mr. Trump know this?
No, Mr. Trump thinks I'm the only one who's smoking crack because apparently I filmed Magic Johnson's ear, but that's a whole nother thing.
I saw that. You didn't, though.
No,
He
we
turned
didn't,
around.
But they made me a human cliffhanger on Mother's
I
Day
know.
of all fucking days.
It was
Mother's
exciting.
Day. Come on. I just felt bad for my mom. But yeah, Adam, it comes out in the new book. It's just like in passing. Like it's not even. It's like
It's a good thing you're not letting anything out that's in the book so that people can experience it.
it's on Amazon. Click through Allison Rosen's new best friend, June 12th, and
AllisonRosen.com, yeah.
pre-order that bitch. And but it's like it's in passing in a story. It's like, I came home from work at 6 a.m. and my roommates were standing there smoking crack, so we smoked a little crack. And then he moves on to like something completely different. It's very weird.
Wow.
Huh. See, I would never do it.
Me either.
No, there's a because. Because I'm afraid I would like it too much and then
I thought
keep
that. I
doing
had
it.
that thought. I had that thought.
It's
And
the
it's
same
not
reason I would do-
sexy.
Right.
Yeah, that's
It's not
my,
a sexy drug.
That's my logic on that and heroin
It's
too.
one thing when
heroin.
it's coke and it's like, I'm a coke addict. There's something
Yeah, that has
sort
a
of
certain
Studio
less than
54.
zero.
Yeah, something cool about it. Yeah, but it's just never cool.
Right. Do you guys watch Girls?
I just started last night.
Oh, yeah, you were just telling me you don't have time to watch good shows.
Last night, holy God, David, what's his name?
Judd Apatow?
No. It's on the tip of my tongue. He was the guest. He played.
if you tried to burp it, would that help?
He played,
No. Chris O'Dowd?
no, he played her, Leah Dunham's boyfriend.
Oh, Adam Driver, I think.
Yes, what a fucking powerhouse.
Yes.
Holy God, he's amazing.
I am relating. Wait, so Dustin, you don't watch it, and Gary, you don't watch it. We're going to have to poll all the listeners.
I don't watch it yet, but I've got them all kind of.
Well, for the people that listen, I am relating way too much to that show, like uncomfortably so.
That's not
I had
good.
my own version of that Adam guy.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think
anyway.
yeah.
That's the point. We all did.
Yeah.
Probably not Dustin. Okay. Let's see. Wiss Mellis says, check inside of shower curtain door for spiders before turning on water. I must say, a preponderance of the JMOs have to do with spiders. And I don't do that, but I should, because oftentimes I'll be in the shower and there'll be a spider that'll crawl up the wall and I'll think, now what do I do? And I try to just drown it.
Yeah, that happened to me the other day. And I was going to try and liberate it because it was kind of like spidering around in the water, the standing water that inevitably builds in my shower because it doesn't drain well. And then it somehow swam its way down to it. It committed shower suicide. I was going to help it out.
Drown itself.
How
Yeah,
did he
it
know?
drowned
He
itself
didn't know
out.
that though.
I know.
You were just
You didn't leave a note in a web?
We weren't communicating well.
I have a
but-
friend who her mother is one of my favorite people on the planet, and she used to say things to me when I had my own show. She'd go, "You should forget doing this show like this. Nobody watch. You should do a Coke commercial." She would always say to me, and I would say, "Great, I'll just call them and make that happen." But my friends had her daughter at her mother's house. So I'm telling this terribly.
No,
but she had
I'm going on this ride.
The baby.
Still lightheaded
She was
from
changing her
birthday.
baby's diaper on her mother's bed, and she called out, "Mom, get a napkin. There's a spider in here. We've got to kill the spider." And her mom said, "Why you want to kill the spider? He said, why you just leave it alone?" She said, "Mom, it's right near the baby. Get a napkin. I want to kill it." And she goes, "I don't see what is the big deal." And she said, "Mom, it could be poisonous." And her mom said, which is one of my favorite quotes of all time now, "Not these days."
Spiders have changed. That's good.
So that's sort of an inside joke with my husband and I.
I like that. That actually reminds me, a segment within a segment. I don't know what this... Oh, Gary's ready to play some music. There's no music yet. It's brand new. And it's completely self-aggrandizing. It could just be called, hey, stroke my ego. But on the Adam Carolla show, which is the other show that I do, oftentimes I'll make little comments or say little jokes or whatever that aren't really heard by the people in the room, which is fine. But people will tweet at me that they heard it. And, like, that's a big thing, kind of telling me about little comments I made that were so fast that no one really, no one paid them the proper respect in the room, let's say, but that they think are super funny. So now, and this is kind of obnoxious, sometimes when I say things, I'll think, this is one they're gonna pick up on. But, so that's why I have to tell you guys about one that zero, a big fat goose egg of
can
people
I just
heard.
warn you? You're going to retell a joke that didn't play the first time. Is that what's happening? And
Yeah,
you're gonna
you know
hope
why?
it gets its proper respect. Okay.
You want to know
I'm
why?
here for you.
Because I'm sure that it's...
I'm here for you.
Here's the delusion.
Okay,
I'm sure that
okay.
it's so genius.
Okay,
it's
I'm ready.
It's truly that no one heard it.
Total open mind.
They couldn't have
I'm
heard
gonna
it. There was
pretend like
no,
you-
it was so
I'm
quiet.
hearing this-
Well, if
That's right.
it doesn't work this time, maybe you could explain it after.
Maybe.
You could write a book about it.
Absolutely, I will. Thank you. Okay, so Adam was talking about how he realized a great new, exciting way to kill spiders is with some kind of flammable material and like a torch or something. So he was just creating fireballs in the air and burning these spiders. And he was saying that there was a spider in the corner of his, I don't know, some room where he works at or something. And
Rumpus
like
room.
sometimes he has been saying rumpus room a lot.
she was gonna
Did you
say
just
rectum.
pull that out of? Did you just pull rumpus room out of nowhere?
It's sort of a go-to for like the funniest name for a room.
See, if only I'd known. Anyway,
Men's
Add it to the
magazines.
story.
yeah. So anyway, in the rumpus room, I just clumsily tossed that in. So he said that sometimes you have a spider that's like just lazy, but then sometimes you have a spider that's like really active. And I said you had a real Charlotte on your hands.
Okay. Very funny.
It's not that funny, obviously. I suppose now I'm realizing. But it's just that I thought perhaps it was just a reference to a much beloved and ballyhooed
Sure, it's a
piece of
clever
children's literature. Yeah.
literary reference.
Zero people wrote me to let me know they heard that. Because they didn't hear it, that's what I think. Because if they did, they
I think
surely...
you're going to get a lot of letters now, Allison.
Are they going to be positive?
I just think you're going to get a lot of letters.
I think they'll be well articulated on what people thought about that.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see here. Okay. Big DK says, having to carry all the groceries in one trip despite physical pain and possible bag explosions along the way. Yes, I do that. I am always dropping something or spilling something. Yes. Why do we do this to ourselves?
And can I take it one step further?
Yeah.
I do it constantly. I did it yesterday, as a matter of fact. There were too many cups in the bedroom. My son, he'll take a sip of something and then have to go get another milk and another juice, and then I've got 50 cups in my bedroom. And I tried to carry them all out instead of dumping some of them, and I spilled all over them. But then what I do consistently is then speak to myself out loud. Every time. And that's one of the very few times that I do it, but I do it every time. I say like a, damn it, Kerri. It's sad.
Whose voice is that you're speaking to yourself in?
That's my grandmother. She used to always
Feel the
spill
pain.
cups.
Feel the pain. It's not true.
She was always trying to keep me from spilling the cups. No, I go, damn it, Kerri. And I do that in the car, too. I say I'm sorry out loud in the car a lot. If I do something dumb and I turn and I didn't see somebody, I go, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
I don't think I talk to myself out loud. I talk to myself in my head constantly.
You
But I
don't have an out
think-
loud.
No, unless something shocks me or frightens me, or then I might do like, oh, whoa, or something like that. But not actual conversation with myself out loud.
I broke my foot last year. I slipped. We were getting out of the jacuzzi. The dog took my son's new bathing suit, and I jumped out really fast, and I slipped, and I broke my foot. And when I landed, I surprised myself by blurting out, "Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear."
It's so quaint.
Oh my word!
Dustin, do you speak out loud to yourself?
I don't. But I was going to say on the grocery thing, I don't think I do that so much, and the reason is that when I lived in New York and didn't have a car, there was no real option to
Right.
breaking up the grocery trips.
Right.
And
7th-floor walk up. You put them under your arm.
Yeah, and my nearest grocery store in Queens, where I lived most of the time in New York, was like, 7 blocks away. Not super far, but far enough that if you bought, say, a week's worth of groceries, that was too much to buy. And I frequently calibrated poorly as far as how much I should buy, given that my only option was to carry it physically.
Yeah, there's a sale on cases of soda.
Absolutely, and you need that 10 for 9.
You might have a burping contest later,
Absolutely,
for example.
yeah.
One should always be prepared for that.
You never know.
And so I would seriously have so many that I would have to like stop every 2 blocks and, and just like squat
Yes.
down
Yeah,
and just
and
like
your finger, the white across your fingers.
Yes,
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
bags
It was-
cutting off
Yeah.
circulation.
yeah, and I
Oh.
would think of those like strongman contests they run on ESPN where they have to lug like
Something
slot
heavy.
machines on their back and stuff like that.
Yeah, but they weren't
it's-
carrying soda.
Right, exactly. But it was like, but they were actually like in a competition where they could win like hundreds of thousands of dollars for doing it well. I was just walking down the street, in Queens for no reason. And so now I feel like I so appreciate that I can break groceries up into,
Yeah.
I feel like honestly I'm not taking that opportunity as much as I should. Like, I feel like I should now
know.
go from my car to my apartment like one bag at a time, or just like one can of soup at a time, just to be like,
I carry
I
one
can
egg
do
at a
this
time.
all day now. Look at me.
Every time I think I for some reason need to get it all done quicker. So I do one trip, and I always end up doing something that makes the whole rest of the day fucked up. I spill, so I might have to go change.
Yeah, see,
It
you're
doesn't
wearing an
make
entirely
time.
white outfit, which is very attractive. But my first thought when I saw that was, I could never do that because I spill on myself way too frequently.
I'm wearing a white bikini, if you can't see.
That's right, yeah.
A thong.
So therefore, if you spill hot coffee, there's a lot of flesh that could be seared.
Yeah. It's very bold of me to wear white, too, with my son, but he's not here today.
Okay. So in New York, though, same grocery situation, and I thought I would. Dustin and I both used to live in New York, and
I'm
I
from,
thought,
too.
what?
That's where I'm from as well.
Yes, we all dealt with that horrendous grocery awfulness, which actually wasn't that bad. So I thought I would just love being back out here and having a car and the convenience and everything. And I'm not loving the car aspect of it all.
No, I wish there was a grocery store to walk to.
Yes,
I know. I live very far from everything.
you're in Malibu, right?
We're in Malibu, and I might as well live in Manhattan and drive everywhere because it's very far. But I still find myself driving over the hill to go to Trader Joe's because I love it. But I do the same thing. I pile up a bunch of crap, and I really don't have to do that. I did call I remember I called my mom when I first moved here, and I said, "You're never going to believe what I'm doing." And I think she was expecting something way more exciting. I said, "I'm driving my car to my house and there are groceries in the back of it." It was such a big deal. And I try to remind myself of that every time I'm driving 100 miles to get to the grocery store, and how lucky I am to be able to do that. Whatever.
When did you move out here?
98.
And how was your adjustment?
At first, I loved it. At first, I was still enamored by the palm trees. Tom Lennon and I would every day go, "Look, there's a palm tree." It was a big deal. And the grocery driving and the barbecues and all that stuff. But I am a diehard New Yorker, and I miss it like a limb. And I'm that annoying person. When we're sitting on the beach in Malibu on a Sunday and people say, "Isn't this just perfect?" And I'm like, "I get it. Yeah, it's great." But for me, I like New York.
Yeah, I'm becoming more and more that way. When I first got here for a while, I was like, well, you know, there's great things about both. And there are great things about both, but I miss New York more and more. But I probably won't ever go back, or I won't go back for a really long time.
I miss New York more since I've had my son, because now I'm looking at the world every day as an opportunity for teaching. And I'm finding it hard here to give him the sorts of things that were just immediately around. I mean, I was there. I try to go as often as I can, but I was there last week, and I was standing outside my hotel, and I just thought, if he were here right now, what would he be experiencing? I smelled something I'd never smelled before, a great, food. I heard 9 languages in 3 minutes that I was standing there. The clothes that you would never see because everyone wears the same thing in Malibu. All those kinds of things that you don't have to buy or go looking for are just there for you.
Yeah.
So, it's that kind of nonsense. But, I mean, the kid, we live at the beach. It's wonderful, and air and running and all of that is great. But I do love, wish you could have it all. Wish you could have it all. But
yeah, I miss that amount of stimulation.
yeah, the stimulation, that's what it is. I do better with lots of input. And my husband is a way more easygoing guy. He loves the silence, and silence for me is terror.
I can't tell you how uplifting that was for you to say that you wished you could have that you could be raising your son in New York, because it drove me crazy when I lived in New York. I mean, not that I've been a parent or sort of know what one thing is better than the other, but it seems to me that that experience is a great thing for a child, and that exposing them to as many. I mean, I feel like if I am a parent, I would also want to do that, expose a child to as many varied experiences as possible, and that New York is the best possible place for that. And for everyone, including people like native New Yorkers who love New York and love living in New York, are like, well, but when we have the kid, then we got to start, thinking we're looking at maybe moving to Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
or,
everyone leaves when they have kids.
But it's just like this given, it's this accepted wisdom for some reason, like that it just has to be done, and it's so weird to me.
Don't get me wrong. There are, the grass is certainly always greener, but there are the immense amount of dangers and dirty and that kind of stuff too. But yeah, I'm just living in that grass is always greener thing. We're going there in 2 weeks together, and I'm sure in 5 minutes I'll be over it. After
it's hot right now.
He eats a pretzel out of the garbage can.
That'll be an experience.
That's right. He will never forget that. I think it's topic sombrero time.
It's the topic sombrero. We asked for topics and you sent them in. It's the topic sombrero. Now pick a topic and let's begin. It's the topic sombrero.
All right. Can a couple that breaks up get back together and make it last the second time around? Now, my first reaction to this is probably not, because I pretty much think that if you broke up, there's a reason you broke up. And I watch people try to make relationships that can't work for repeatedly. And I just think it brings so much heartache and heartbreak. And why do that to yourself? However, I do think there are a lot of exceptions to that. And when I think about it, a lot of couples that I know who have pretty solid relationships did break up at some point. So therefore, I just gave zero answer.
I have experience in this, not myself, but with a very close friend. And I would have thought it would not be possible myself. But these people have proven to me that is not the case. They broke up. They're back together. They now are madly in love more than they were before. They have a more stable relationship. They have a child. And I think now more than ever, they know they're in it for the long haul.
Why did they break up the first time?
I think they were younger, and they both had careers that took them in different directions. And now they realized, being apart, they realized they wanted to make those sacrifices and that commitment, and that it meant that much to them. I think breaking up was necessary for them.
How long were they apart?
I feel like a year.
Those, I don't know if you guys ever read Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus books, which are super cheesy, and you will hate yourself as you read it. But I will just say that there's, I can't believe I'm quoting this or talking about it. I should have just said that I heard this somewhere, as opposed to admitting this is where that came. But well, you see, men are like rubber bands. You have to give them room to stretch, to fully, extend, and then they come snapping back to you. But he says that you shouldn't hold it against a guy if he needs to be apart from you. And by that, I mean like broken up from, or if he doesn't realize that he loved you until you guys are broken up. Because sometimes that's what men need. And I don't know if I could feel, I'm trying to think if I wouldn't hold that against him. I think my attitude would be, you had to lose me to realize what you had.
Well, I think the absolute defining factor is why you broke up.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's because the person was cheating on you or sleeping with your mom, I mean, it's hard to come back around to that. But if it's that, you didn't have enough time to spend together and you were whatever, I think it certainly depends on the reason.
Yeah. Or like you're saying, if you're both really young.
Yeah.
And you just haven't really dated other people.
Yeah, I think the timing's super important. Actually, for a dating article I wrote way back in the day, I interviewed this researcher who had found that people who can consider themselves first loves, or people talking about other people that they considered their first loves that they had lost touch with frequently, had a desire to reconnect with those people, because often the reason that they had drifted apart wasn't to do with the sort of underlying relationship, but it was more like circumstances in life and stuff like that. And in that case, she found that those who had found their way back together actually had incredibly strong relationships and were like incredibly happy. But I think that it's less likely that that's going to work out and be successful if it's like you start dating someone in your 30s and then you wait for him to snap back like a rubber band or whatever whatever the theory is.
Especially if he's sleeping with your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, avoid people who are sleeping with your mom.
Yeah.
That's sort of
or just be wary of them.
Yeah, exactly. You can't judge, but
No.
Have you ever broken up with someone and then gotten back together with them and that worked?
No.
Personally, no, me neither.
I have broken up with someone and gotten back together and it didn't work.
Yes,
That's
that's
the
been
only
my
experience I've
experience as
had.
well.
Likewise. In fact, I was like a real zealot on this matter, where I would always tell friends, you cannot get back together with people that you broke up with. And, it was just like a thing that I was known for. And
You're fun. You're a fun friend.
Yeah, exactly. And then
Burping contests and yelling at them.
And then I finally gave it a shot with someone that I had broken up with, and all of my friends were, of course, all over me saying that, how can you betrayed yourself? And it was just, I guess, karmic justice that it was like a horrible. I don't think we even lasted 3 weeks on the like second time around. It was a train wreck.
Yeah, you're an advocate for clean breaks, yes?
I am an advocate for clean breaks.
Mentally, I am, but I think in practice, I'm more of a messy break kind of person.
I'm friends with most of my exes.
Are you?
Yeah. Yeah, because we had a real connection at one point. If it was a real connection and you're just trying to figure out what that connection is and what do we mean to each other, and then you realize, oh, wait, we weren't meant to be this kind of relationship. We were meant to be this kind of relationship. But I would say most. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm friends with most of the guys that I had somewhat casual relationships with, or that I dated. But in terms of the serious relationships that I had, I'm not friends with the two guys that I was in relationships with in New York. But they're both married, and I think that's part of it. Like, I don't want to...
I'm still close friends. In fact, my boyfriend in college, my first love, really...
I'd like to make clear they weren't married at the time.
My first big girlfriend was I was the girlfriend, was Craig Wedren, who's a musician.
Yeah.
And now
Didn't he do the States music?
He did. And Craig has since married, for many years they've been married, Tom Lennon's sister.
Oh, wow.
So it just felt like, we're dancing around each other going, I love you so much, but what is this? What are we to each other? And that wasn't it. But the just adoring the person in general, and we're still very much in each other's lives and adore each other's husbands and wives and kids and all that great stuff. Mm-hmm. So still a family, but in a different way.
When you met your husband, how did you know he was like the one?
I didn't. In fact, I had a very specific type that I would go for. They didn't necessarily look a certain way, but they were a sort of generally in the rock music world, and usually a performer. And my girlfriend from New York, who was actually the drummer in my band, would say to me, okay, after this breakup, let's just take some time. You need to take some time by yourself. You're a serial dater. So I had broken up with somebody, and she came out to L.A. from New York to visit me, and I said, you know what, I just got this show. I have to do the table read. You hang out with this guy who I know. He's a nice guy. He's the DP on the show. I'll be back in an hour. I came back from that table read, and she said, you need to date him. And I was like, what? You're telling me to date somebody? And him? He's really? And I just didn't see it. It wasn't an aversion to it. It just was not normally who I would. And at that exact moment, everything just sort of went, wavy in front of me. And I went, wait a minute. Wow. And I saw him in a completely different light and immediately just fell in love with him.
Wow.
And that was how it happened.
If she hadn't said that, I'm sure you've thought of this before. What do you think would have happened?
I really don't know. I've actually never thought of that.
Oh.
I really don't know.
Because
But
I'm a romantic, I like to think you guys still would have ended up together.
Well, would have been sad if we hadn't. I think it takes, your friends to sometimes point you in right directions. If you're going to listen or not, that's another thing. And normally I wouldn't listen. But this time I listened, and I listened because she was right. If he had been a creepy doggy face, I probably wouldn't have listened. But he's a handsome dude.
Well, Dustin and I have talked about this. When I was telling him at the kind of the beginning-ish of the relationship that I'm in now, I was saying that from the very beginning, it felt different than anything else that I had been involved in. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't sure whether I didn't even think I wanted to be in a relationship. I was just done for a while. Because all the relationships I've been in the past just hadn't gone well, and I dated the wrong guy repeatedly, and then I'd done that thing where I'm like, I'm not attracted to this guy, but it seems like the right guy, so I'm going to make myself date him. And then when that didn't work, I thought, I can't figure this out anymore. And I've read too many stupid dating books. I'm very much in my head, and my life is fine without a boyfriend. It's better than it's frighteningly fine that I don't feel like I need this, and I'm sure one day I'll want this. And also, by the way, the more you don't have sex, the less you, I would think, sex is something I used to engage in, and it's been a long time, and I'm totally okay with that. I was weirdly okay with all of it. But then I became friends with this guy, and I was drawn to him, but I really wasn't sure if I wanted anything more than friendship. But so I was telling Dustin all this, and at this point we were already going out. The guy and I are already going out.
She and her, not the two of us.
Right.
Important clarification.
And then Dustin was pointing out that, well, that kind of makes sense that if everything in the past, if you had a pattern in the past and that never panned out, so to speak, then the right thing would feel different from the beginning. Mm-hmm.
Ours felt different from the beginning. Absolutely. I did the same thing. My relationship before my husband was so dramatic. It was beyond ridiculous. And that I, too, was done. I mean, that's for another podcast.
Was that for Mark Maron's podcast?
Yeah, seriously,
Because I
you've
am
already used that
competitive.
good material.
He's got that copyrighted. But this relationship felt totally different. Felt like this. This looks like what I see other people having. I didn't think that I could have one of these.
I didn't think I would want one of those.
I knew I wanted one of those. I didn't think I was capable of calming down enough to be in one.
I think I wanted it. The idea of not being nervous all the time and of having someone who I could trust and who I knew would be there, and who, when I left, I wasn't instantly like, when am I going to see him again? What's going on? It's just like blah, 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 all that noise in my head. That appealed to me, but I didn't think I could feel attracted to someone who didn't bring that level of turmoil. Yeah.
Sure. Is that sexy? I think at a certain point, when you've run against the wall enough times,
it is. Yeah. Oh, I know, because sometimes
now that I have a son, I can't imagine. Sometimes I think about what life would be like with anyone other than my husband with this child, and my God, it's like going through a war together. You have to really be able to count on somebody.
Yeah. Dustin, how's your love life?
It's as empty as it's always been.
Good. Let's keep it status quo.
Yeah.
Gary, do you want to chime in? I forget what the original subject was. Oh, it was breaking up, getting back together.
The spiders, I think.
Yeah.
Spiders. It was burping.
Well, I am scared of spiders, for sure. So I don't like that they keep coming up on the JMOs.
You're avoiding the topic.
I am
Gary.
avoiding the topic.
What's her
I want to tell
name?
my spider story that I was too embarrassed to tell on stage at UCB.
Okay.
Oh, I wasn't embarrassed. I was kind of shell-shocked at UCB. I didn't talk a lot at that show, but
We
guys
just did a live show at Upright Citizens Brigade Theater, which went very well. And
Went
Gary
excellent.
thought he was going to be in the back doing the tech stuff from back there, but instead he
They
was
put you
on
on stage.
stage. Yeah, which I thought was very cool, even though I kind of forgot he was there often because he was behind me. It was the first time.
It
we
was
were
fine.
all,
It was just,
yeah.
I don't know. People talk about the lights shocking you, and it did.
Well, we're
I knew
used to, with the Adam Kroll Show, we do live podcasts all the time, but they're in these theaters where you can see everyone. Like, oh,
Right.
you're enjoying chicken. And, oh, now they're bringing the checks for everyone, and they're kind of dropping them on the table. And I just heard
Loudly.
that guy order, and you're looking at your phone. Like, you can see everything.
Right.
Whereas this was, like a real... A comedy club, theater, where the lights are in your eyes and you can't really see the audience that much.
Yeah, so that was a little
And
jarring.
did you have, usually when we perform there, we have people on stage sitting. Did you
Yeah,
have that? That's
we-
always nerve-wracking.
a little, yeah, and they
Someone's
were.
sitting Indian style, and you're afraid you're going to trip over them.
Well, there was like I was on stage too, so directly behind me were those seats you're talking about, and those were like half full, and then directly in front of me were the other side of the stage seats, and there was only one person sitting there, and I knew who it was, and I was just staring right in their eye line the whole time, and that was equally as jarring as the 12 people behind me. But
I always feel like it's a lot of pressure for those people who are sitting on the stage.
yeah,
Yes.
One
I'd
of-
like to point out that it was packed, though.
It was.
Despite
No,
the fact that it
it
makes
was
it sound like
packed.
the wings were.
Yes,
were
there's
not
only about 14 seats or so on each wing, and one of them had 12 people or so in it, and those were two of the only empty seats in the house, and the other section was the only one they didn't use. The
Yeah.
rest of the seats in the whole theater were full.
Right.
So anyways, you guys were talking about spiders
pathetic that I'd point that out.
during that
I'm
show.
pathetic.
No, it's good. And
By the way, it's a 13-seat theater.
That's right.
Really good.
It's incredibly intimate. It's an intimate.
My mom, my brother.
That's right.
His girlfriend, his other girlfriend.
and the guy in face paint.
Yeah, there was a guy in face paint. So anyway, tell
He
your
was a nice
story.
guy. Yeah, so anyways, you guys were talking about spiders, and that day, or the day before or something, very recently, I was doing my laundry, and I finished, and I am ghetto, have a laundry room. So I came back up to my apartment with the thing, and I dumped all my laundry out onto my bed, and it was like very close to the edge, and like a sock or two fell off, and so did a spider that was the size of about a quarter.
Was it clean?
Out of my clean laundry. I was fucking freaked out for the next
Did you
like,
scream
3
like
hours.
a lady?
I did not scream, but I picked up the nearest thing that I could to hit it.
Oh my!
Oh dear, my word.
I inadvertently picked up a shoe that I used to go hiking or something, so I slammed it as hard as I could on the floor, and fucking dirt went everywhere. And I felt.
That's what you get, murderer.
I know, but he was in my fucking clean clothes, yo. That's not okay.
Poor guy. Was he want to crawl around in your dirty underwear?
How did he get in the?
He has feelings too.
Does that mean he was in the dryer?
I know that's what I'm wondering as well. Did
no,
he seem hot?
I think he was hanging out in your laundry
I didn't ask him.
basket.
Oh, that makes
He wasn't.
so much
My
sense.
laundry basket is thatched. He wouldn't have been able to. There was nowhere for him to
Thatched.
chill.
That seems like where they
People
want to
don't
be.
use the word thatched often
They
enough
don't
anymore.
For
I couldn't-
sometimes for roofs.
I couldn't think
Want
of
to
a
come
better
over to my house
word.
and thatch my roof with me?
You know what I mean? It's got like a million holes in it. It's all like cross
Woven.
Yeah, it's thatched.
Sure,
Okay.
thatched.
Yeah.
I
What's
thought that
it-
was the right
what's it
word.
made
Doesn't
out
make
of?
fun me.
Like some-
Plastic. It's
I
not
was
really
picturing
thatched.
like banana leaves.
Thatched is,
Yeah, I was
thatched is
too.
the wrong word, but if you could,
It was woven.
yes.
And by the way, I
basket. I
had
should stop talking
a banana
now.
leaf basket. It's a Target find. It's like, oh, this will be an organic splash of I don't know what for my house. Anyway, for the next couple of days, I'm walking around my house.
Smelled.
Yeah, I was
Yep.
like, what smells like feet?
Yep.
So there's
It was the
some rotting sock somewhere or something, and then it was the friggin' banana leaf
I bought
basket.
flowers at the florist last week. Put them in a vase, walking around the house, going, there's a rotten
Cancer
egg
research is
somewhere.
important, but
I agree.
We heard that.
Here's the thing about cancer research. It's important. Not apparently more important than what I'm saying.
No. Tell us about these
Not at all.
flowers.
Anyway, they were smelly, and that would be the last thing that I would expect would be that smell coming out of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Things that smell like feet need to announce that that's what's going
Especially
on.
don't
Like, beautiful,
disguise
but
yourself as a
disgusting.
flower.
That's right.
When you smell like feet.
Ugh, that's how they operate. The stinkies.
Yeah, it should be like when something's poison, it has the Mr. Yuck. Like things that are going to smell like feet should have like a little foot with like lines coming
Yeah.
out of it, so that you
To
know,
warn
like,
you.
Right.
it will smell like feet someday.
Hey, cheap ass, I know you just skipped over the hydrangeas to pick me because I'm cheaper, but I smell like feet.
But the organic thing probably costs more. You cost more for the privilege of having a foot-smelling item.
That's right.
Right.
I think the sticker could also be someone, like a face and then lines showing they're breathing in,
Yeah.
and then a circle and a slash. Like, don't inhale.
Yeah, and with a maybe scratch and sniff sticker.
Oh,
so you know
see,
what you're
that
in
would
for.
be good. Did you guys ever have scratch and sniff sticker books that had a gross scent?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Sesame Street. I remember there was I don't know where they
Slime
went.
or
Yeah,
Garbage.
Yes.
Probably garbage from
And-
Oscar the Grouch.
Oscar the Grouch and his friend Slimy the worm, who you always saw the little sticks pushing Slimy.
I love him. I still love him.
Is Slimy still,
He's still
a character?
around.
He is good. Good. Did you know that they use Sesame Street music to torture?
this.
You did? Okay.
Abu Ghraib.
Yeah. Or at Guantanamo, I think, to
Guantanamo.
torture them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't
Yeah.
seem that torturous.
No, I would love it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess anything over and over and over again.
Well, you have a fairly young child. I mean,
Well, I was
aren't,
going to
like
say,
the music
it's like
associated
being at
with.
Guantanamo at my house every day, apparently.
But I haven't listened to these jingles, but I would think, with repeated hearing, they
Sure.
might be sort of cloying.
We
or-
listen to a lot of the. We've got Bieber fever in our house right now,
sorry.
and my son insists that it's Justin Bieber, with vengeance. He's furious. He gets furious at me when I call him Justin Bieber. I even tried to Google it for him and show him that it was a B and not a V, and he wanted no part of it.
Well,
I-
There's nothing cuter than a 6-year-old with a lisp arguing with you that it's Beaver.
I hope he's not Googling Justin Bieber, though, because I feel like that might turn up
we
some,
found some things. We
yeah.
found some things, but we have money for therapy.
It's good. You have everything.
Actually, speaking of that, I don't know if you're aware of this, Kerri, but when you search your name on YouTube,
Yeah, I don't like where this is going.
like the 6th or 7th result is Kerri Kenney-Silver nude.
I know.
Yeah, what is that?
I know.
It's not you.
I know.
I
get Google.
I viewed the whole
but here's
thing
what's
for
funny.
research.
I have been nude in feature television shows. I've been featured nude on Just Tele. I'm going to be nude on Anger Management coming up in a couple of weeks. But when I get Google alerts about myself, because yes, I have a Google alert on myself.
have to.
And it says Kerri Kenney nude. I actually one time made my assistant with his credit card buy the subscription to get in to see if it really was me nude, and it wasn't. And now he has a subscription to I don't know what.
So the other
Merry Christmas.
Is it someone who is also named Kerri Kenney-Silver?
No, has nothing
It's just
to do
like
with
a
me.
search result thing. That's
It's just
so
a search
weird.
result thing.
It's just, yeah, I mean,
We did it. They did a porno of Reno, a really good one. I mean, really good. When I say good, it's not just like, good sex. They really went to town with the wardrobe, the hairstyling, and we did a benefit at the UCB for a friend of ours who had cancer, who works for the Alternative Press, and Associated Press. And his, all of the porn people that came because we showed clips of the porno movie. And they were serious. They'd written jokes for it. They had the wardrobe. They had incredible sets. It was impressive. And they
Do you
had
say sets or
they had
sex?
Set.
Okay.
And they had good bodies, and it was
It's flattering in a way.
flattering.
yeah. You've got to respect the artistic integrity of,
It was impressive. Good effort.
Wonderful.
Didn't want to shake their hands, but good for you.
Yeah.
Pat on the
Although
back.
I don't want to say more about how I would feel if I found out that someone had done a porn parody involving me, because that
Tom
will
Lennon
encourage
for
it.
a month
that would be the
send me-
greatest thing that could. I mean, that
No, that's-
will,
that's
that
super
will show
uncomfortable.
that you've arrived. Well, I know,
Yeah,
I
that
know
did
you
feel
wouldn't
good in
like
that
it,
way.
but it would mean great things for your career.
Can't negative tweets show you've arrived? I'm so
For
sorry.
a month, Tom Lennon would screen grab, text message me pictures of his character rear fucking my character. And I would just be like at the playground and be like, oh, text from Tom. Holy Jesus, God. I don't remember that happening.
Are you in Burning Love?
I am.
Okay, so
Today, right? Well, I don't know when this happens.
Burning Love is a parody of The Bachelor.
Yes, a brilliant parody of The Bachelor.
With Ken Marino.
Yes.
And anyone else from
Written by his wife, Erica Oyama, who's a genius writer.
Okay.
Yes,
Features
everybody's
a bunch
in
of
it.
funny people.
Everybody's in it. Ken Jeong's in it. Natasha Leggero.
Gotta rub my nose in it, huh?
I'll forget important people. I know I will. But Michael Ian Black. It's really funny. I'm not into the end. One of the last episodes.
And that's on.
Webisodes.
Where do people go to find it?
BurningLove.com.
Okay.
Really, really, really funny. Ben Stiller's in the pilot episode, and his wife. Very funny.
I think it might be time for. I just have one. Hey, go fuck yourself.
What does that mean? Are you going to hit me?
No.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
This is a segment where we tell people who need to be told to go fuck themselves to
how
go fuck
fun.
themselves. It's really cathartic. Wow. It's very. But I don't have. Well,
Have you gotten backlash from it ever?
no, I've only gotten front lash. People love it.
Wow, front lash.
Yeah. See, I do have some notes here about. Well, this
You
is
got
sort
a
of
big
this.
one out on the first show, so I feel like
Yeah, I did. I there was some yelling.
You have more than one?
Oh yeah, I keep an ongoing thing. It's I
she
have
seems
to.
so sweet, but there are deep reservoirs of hate there.
Maybe I don't even seem that sweet today. I've been burping a lot. Well, just
sweet.
sort of a general. Generally, there's this. I forget if I've already done this one, but there's this sort of quiet current of the people saying that I don't open up about myself. Have you heard me do this one before?
No, I don't know
No.
why anyone would. Isn't
No,
your whole
because that's
show
fucking ridiculous.
Thank
about
you.
opening up about yourself?
Yeah, the oversharing, if you will. So
We've
this.
done 18 hours of.
They might be talking about me on the Adam Carolla show. It's like, I've
Listen
been
to this
listening
show.
to her for a year and a half, and the only thing, it's like, I've been listening to this for her for a year and a half, and she's just like a caricature of a real person. The only thing I really know about her is she moved out here from New York. She likes cats. She had some ovaries removed and blah, blah, blah. First of all, I'm allergic to cats. Second of all, you can't have some ovaries removed.
Like several.
Yeah.
You should do one entire Adam Carolla show, no matter what the topic is. Just talk about your vaginal itch.
I've
and they'll
done
get over
that.
it really quickly. Well, then what more could there be to share?
I mean, I haven't really done that, but if I have cramps, you'll know. All I'm saying is I feel like people who think that I don't open up about myself and who think that they don't know anything about me, it's because they're not listening, obviously, because I say a ton about me. Plus, I put a ton about myself out there. And also, just because I haven't turned myself into a caricature with like a through line narrative that I repeat repeatedly, which is how you do with repeated things like
Need a
some
catchphrase.
comedians out there, doesn't mean that there's anything less real about me. I would argue that I'm more real because I haven't done that and I'm just letting it all hang out, all my ovaries. Go fuck yourself.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
I have one more.
Before
okay.
you get off that, I feel like you should throw a dinner party, and you should invite those people who say you're not opening up, like half and half. You should invite them and the ones who say that you talk too much and ruin the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
and
That'd
you should
be
just
fun for me.
just alternate seating, and then just
And have like a 13-hour dinner party
It would just be a standoff.
with a
Right.
valet who takes the keys away.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we'd lock the door and there'd be thunder. Someone's going to die tonight.
And
be the murder
canapes.
mystery. Yeah.
And couscous.
I used to think that word was canapes.
Canapes.
Yeah.
I once ate potpourri at a party because I thought it was Terra chips.
How was it?
I
was
tried
rosy.
to eat plastic sushi once, thinking that it was real
Probably
sushi.
tasted similar.
My sister's husband, admitted that he'd eaten dog food one time because he thought it was oyster crackers. It was dog kibble or
I did
dog
that.
treats.
My stepmother keeps it in a thing on the kitchen counter that just said snacks. Well, how do I know?
Yeah. And I wanted to know how it was because I've been tempted to try that.
It's not worth it.
Yeah. Okay.
Sticks to
Is
your
it
teeth.
livery?
This particular one was chicken kibble. Chicken snacks. The bacon ones might be good.
My experience was they're mostly
Yeah.
just dry, like
Why did you
extremely
eat
dry.
it?
I was a kid and just
Okay.
That's what you do.
Gary, Have you put anything in your mouth that doesn't belong there?
No, I don't know. No,
All right.
I don't like that question.
That makes it seem like you have.
I'm sure I have at some point.
Okay. Has anyone here gotten their stomach pumped? I have not.
No.
Dustin? All right. How'd you eat plastic sushi? And how'd you come back from that?
I didn't eat it. I was at this trade show that a friend of my dad's is a seafood wholesaler, and he had gotten me into North America's largest seafood expo because
Wow.
I'm
Who do
a
you
big
know? Who do you
Why do I know?
Who do I got to blow to get in that place?
and exactly because
The Gorton fisherman.
I enjoy eating seafood, and he was saying all these purveyors bring out their best product because they're trying to make sales and whatever, and it's this basically gigantic feast, which it generally is. You can have caviar and all types of smoked salmon and sushi, and it's all just laid out everywhere, and you just have to act like you're someone who might buy it for your restaurant chain or something. Anyway, so I was just wandering around, and you just pick up these samples, and you kind of get in this kind of robotic routine of just stuffing yourself up and down these aisles. And then I came upon one, and it turns out that it wasn't real product that they had set out. It was plastic sushi, but I was,
Shoveling?
I had sort of disengaged my mind, and plus I was in this sort of
Sushi coma.
Yeah, sushi coma. And it didn't register that I was holding onto a piece of plastic until it had reached my lips, and then I didn't eat it, but I did try and bite down on it, and then I had this awkward moment where I had to try and slip it back down on the counter before the people at the booth had noticed that anything was going on, which I think I successfully did, but we'll never know for sure.
It's possible I tried to eat a plastic grape. This whole thing brought me back to a plastic fruit incident.
I stuck a lima bean in my nose once.
How did that go?
Not good.
Did you get it out?
My mom got it out.
Did you eat it afterwards?
No. Okay. My mom took it out.
With what?
I think tweezers. I wasn't that bright.
I remember
This was last year.
a boy in school, I don't know what grade this was, but he got a bean stuck up his nose.
Mm-hmm.
In a, I don't know if he had to go to the hospital. I don't know what happened.
He and I would have gotten along.
Yeah. You know what you could use for that? Something
And that
that
boy was Bill Gates.
Exactly. If you hadn't met your husband, he was probably
That's
the
right.
one for you. But I think it would have been a distant second.
I think neti pot would work to wash that out. And I've never neti potted,
No.
and I find it
Ugh.
upsetting and kind
It's
of disgusting.
upsetting.
Yeah.
Nothing.
It's gross.
Whatever. When you have holes in your body for stuff to come out, and that stays out. Don't recycle it. Don't put things into it.
Yeah. Your nostrils are exit only.
Yes.
Well, you guys, this time has flown by. I'm trying to think if there's anything more. I don't think so. Oh, please come out and see us live June 22nd. Kerri, thank you so much for
Thank
doing
you,
this
guys.
show. Is there anything that you want to tell people to check out?
Oh, yeah. June 28th on FX, the Anger Management premiere is at 9 o'clock. At 9:30, they're going to show a second episode, and I am the guest star on that second episode. So
I'm gonna
that'll be
TiVo
fun.
that.
That'll be
And
fun.
I don't even have
It's a
TiVo.
very fun part, and you'll get to see
And
my,
you're naked
my
in
boobs.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The real you's boobs.
I mean, yeah.
Your real boobs, right?
My real boobs,
Right.
as we like to call them.
Okay. Do you have a YouTube series? Or
No, I don't.
Okay.
Is that something?
No, on that panel that we were talking about before, there
I
was...
do. No, not YouTube. It hasn't aired yet. I have an
Okay.
AOL. It's a web series that's coming out on AOL, but it hasn't started yet.
Okay.
It's not a YouTube thing, but I have a crafting and parenting show that I'm doing for AOL.
That's right. And
That,
we saw a clip, and it was great.
Yeah, it's fun. It's very fun. I interview celebrity funny moms, and we chit-chat, and we make crap.
What's that called?
Making it up.
Nice. All
Yeah.
right. And on Twitter and the web, where can people find you?
At Kerri Kenney, KerriKenney. And that's about it. I'm all over that.
All right. And you can follow me on Twitter at Allison Rosen. You can follow the show's Twitter feed at ARIYNBF. You can email the show, ARIYNBF at Adam Carolla. We have a song, actually. Let's just play that.
Of course you do.
Of course we do.
Allison wants your emails. Send them to this address. Try to remember these initials.
best friend.
Thank you, Ross Bergman.
He must have
And
made
thank
at
you,
least
Trap Dog.
$40 on all of those songs together.
You'd be surprised.
Lucky.
He has 2 nickels to rub together. And you can follow Gary at G. Patrick Smith. Please leave positive comments on iTunes. Because we love that. And I love you. And thank you so much for being here. You can follow Dustin at Dustin Goot on Twitter, except he doesn't tweet. And I'm going to keep saying that till you tweet. It's never going to happen.
Yeah. Pressure.
That
You should
implies
also try crack.
That
It's really
implies
good.
that shame affects me. Yeah.
You're right. You're impervious to these kind of things. Alrighty then. Bye, you guys. Love you. Bye.
Hey, do you know about the Allison Rosen show? We had a good time, but now we gotta go. Thank you for choosing the Allison Rosen show. Allison Rosen is your new best friend. That's right, that's right. Those good times don't seem to end. That's right, that's right. Allison Rosen is your new best friend. Hey, do you know about the Allison Rosen show? We had a good time, but now it's time to go. Hope to see you next time for the Allison Rosen show. Yeah! Yeah, Allison Rosen is your new best friend.
Hey, you guys, it's me again. I hope you enjoyed that episode. So, as promised, I'm going to play another Encore song for you. This one is called Sick Dance, or maybe it's called This Sick Dance, but no, it's called Sick Dance. I wrote this one, and it was about something that I wrote about often, which was unhealthy relationships that I felt drawn to, and this sense that they're kind of all the same. And this one, I'm trying to remember the lyrics. It was, there's something sick about the way you look at me. Am I in the crosshairs? Will you pull the trigger? There's something sick about the way you make me feel. A little disturbing and a little exciting. Feels so good to feel so bad. This sick dance keeps me coming back. But, a little fun fact. When I said the lyrics now, I said it was, am I in the crosshairs? But actually in the song, we sang, am I in the crosshatch? Because that's how I wrote it first, and we all thought it sounded better. But we realized that crosshatch is actually, I think it's like a sketching or an art term. I meant crosshairs. And in the retelling, crosshairs sounds better. But when you sing it, you want to say hatch for some reason. And then also, let's see, I remember, so it was, like I said, it was, there's something sick about the way you look at me. And my bandmates wanted to change it to, there's something sick about the way they wanted all the lyrics always to be more, like from the protagonist point of view, they wanted the protagonist to be more powerful and like you're the one fucking someone else up, whereas I was more just the one being fucked up by the relationships I was in. So I think I fought that battle and I won. So the lyrics stayed the way they were, but it was possible that it was going to be kind of spun around to a different point of view, but that didn't happen. And the chorus, let's see if I can remember. Oh no, that was "Feels so good to feel so bad. This sick dance keeps me coming back." And then it goes back to, "Wait a minute, it's all coming back to me. I thought I'd outgrown you. I thought I had changed. Your face is different, but the feeling's all the same. Familiar and toxic. This closeness is toxic." And then there's like a little breakdown part of the song, which is super straight out of a self-help book. So you can find that and enjoy it, or don't. But I think you will. Okay. As I said before, now I feel I've said too much, and I wish I could just take it all back. But not all of it, just like a third of it. Okay, here's a song. I Still Love You. Bye.